So in this video, I'm going to talk about inserting walls into your project. I'm currently in my south elevation, and as you can see, I've got three levels, a level 1, level 2, and then level 3, which will be the roof. Some things that you may want to do before you get started with placing the walls is shift some of these elements around a little bit. If you click on one of them and edit the group, you can make changes to them, and any change you make will apply to the entire group. So you can see it made these all a little bit longer. I dragged these levels out so they weren't overlapping with the column lines. And also, another thing that you may want to do is to pin these column lines so they can't move. I'm going to go to level 1 to do this. So what you would do is make a crossing around all of them and click on this pin icon, and that will keep them from being moved. So I'm trying to move it right now, and I get this error message that says it can't be moved because it's been pinned. You can unpin things by clicking on them and removing the pin, and if I try to move it, it will ask me if I would like to remove the constraints, and I can say yes. Okay. Alright, so this will keep you from moving some of these column grids accidentally. They're going to be really helpful for placement of walls. So I'm going to go to the architecture ribbon, and I'm going to go to wall structural. The walls that I'm going to make are going to be the walls that separate the individual units in my motel. And I'm going to choose from the available types of walls on an interior wall. It's going to be thicker than necessary, but this will give us a little bit more acoustic isolation between units. And a couple things you would want to check is to make sure that it's going to height, not depth. And also we want it to go from level 1. So these walls will sit on level 1 and they will go up to level 2. Okay, so I already have a sort of rough plan in mind, and so I'm going to go ahead and begin placing some walls. I'm going to have a stairwell that's located here. It'll be an exterior stair. And then I'm going to have my first motel unit right here. So my wall is actually going to be from this point to this point. It'll be a 20-foot wall, and by snapping to these grid lines, I can control the length of the wall. And I'll just repeat that all the way down until I have all of my wall units. And again, you just want to check and make sure when you make these walls that you're using the height and you're constraining it between level 1 and level 2. Now I can make these individual walls, but I can also click on a wall and copy it. So I'm going to make a window around this wall, and I'm going to use this copy tool, and I'm going to copy from one intersection to the next. Okay, so now I have all of the walls in place, and at least these interior walls that are the demising walls, the walls between the various units. And now what I can do, looks like I have an extra one here, I'm going to make a window around that and press the delete key, and it will eliminate that one. Now what I'm going to do is make an exterior wall. I've got these interior ones constructed. I'm going to go to the wall tool, structural, and I'm going to select exterior ephes on metal stud. But one thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that this is going from level 1 all the way up to level 3. So you would select level 3 from the list. And I want this to go a little bit higher than the roof. It's going to have a little parapet. So I'm going to change this top offset to 3. You could change this later. You could leave it at 0 if you like. Okay. Now I will begin to snap to my grid lines. And I'll make another one on the other side here. like so. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and look at this from the south elevation. So here are these exterior walls. And if I click on that and go to the eyeglasses and hide that element, you can see that there are the demising walls on level 1 going up to level 2. Okay, so I can reset that and go back to level 1. And one thing that I noticed as I was laying these out is that I put some walls as interior when I want them to be exterior. So what I can do is select them and change them so that they match this type. All right, now when I constructed these, I instructed it to place them centered. You can also set them, if we go back to the wall tool, it says wall center line, and when I click to those grid intersections, that's where it went. You could make it to some other surface within the wall. And I'm going to change this one here as well. I'll make a window around it and change that to an exterior wall type. Right, so you can continue adding the walls. To add the demising walls for the second floor, I would go to level 2, and this time when I make my wall, I would tell it to go, from level 2 to level 3. And it looks like I need to make some changes to this one to make this a full height wall. So I'll go to my level 1, select that wall, and change it so that it goes to the top constraint up to level 3. And like the other walls that wrap around there, I can make this be 3 feet. I can do the same thing for this wall right here. So now I'm going to go to a 3D view and take a look at the walls that I have in place so far. I'll right-click, zoom in region, and there I have 2 little buildings.